Jai Hind students, today we will be dealing with the subject, and the name of that subject is Project Management and Entrepreneurship. The code is KHU802. Well, these are the contents that I'll be covering today. Initially, I'll tell you what is project. Then I'll discuss the different characteristics of the project. Then comes what is project management, what is the need of project management, why we need any particular type of management so that we'll be able to manage the issues related with the project. Then comes the objective of project management, with what particular objective we perform project management. Then what is the importance of project management in an individual type of scenario. Then I'll discuss about the project team. What do we understand by project team? What is the necessity of the project team? And lastly, I'll be discussing about the roles of project manager. So let's discuss each and every topic one by one. So initially, before starting with the concept of project management, let's understand what do we mean by the term project. It is very much clear from this particular definition as well. A project is defined as a specific finite set of activity which produces an observable and measurable type of result under present requirements, right? So that means it is something which need to be properly specific. It need to be specific. It need to be finite. We cannot say that it is infinite, right? That means it is something which will be involving some sort of finite set of activities are basically involved. And what we'll be getting? Based on this, we'll be getting something which is going to produce an observable and measurable type of result. The result that can be observed, the result that can be measured under certain present type of requirements. So this is the basic definition of project. Now, it is temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or a service or a result. Now, what do we mean by the term temporary? Why we are calling it as a temporary endeavor? It simply means that every project has a definite end, right? We cannot say that there will be a project which does not have a definite end, right? So, again, it is important that it need to have a proper type of definite end. And why we are calling it as unique? It is unique. It simply means that the project or services is different from all similar products or services. That means it need to be unique. Unique from the other projects which are dealing in this particular area or the domain. So it need to be a type of a project that will be dealing with in terms of temporariness and in terms of the uniqueness. Now, it is a unique process which consists of set of coordinated and controlled, again very important term, coordinated and controlled activities, right? There will be different type of activities, a proper type of coordination, a proper type of control over the different activities is amended with start and finish dates, right? We cannot say that we are, dealing with a particular type of project which does not have a starting date, which does not have a finish date. So it is something which start and a type of finish date is properly need to be there. And it is undertaken to achieve a particular type of objective conforming to the basic requirements, including the constraint and time cost of the resources. This is very, very easy type of, definition that you can easily understand. So as I told you, it is a unique process, right? It consists of different set of activities which need to be properly coordinated. Definitely we will be having some starting date, some finishing date, which is taken to undertake and achieve an objective. Obviously, when we are starting a particular type of objective, a particular type of project, it is required that the objective should be very much clear to us at your initial goal. And it is something which totally depends upon the requirements. What are the basic or the specific type of requirements based on which the objective need to be clearly set. And it is something which includes the constraint of time, the cost and the resources which is available to us. Now, what are the examples of project? There are different type of examples, as you can see. Developing the watershed can be a type of project. Then creating irrigation type of facility can again be a project. Developing any sort of new crop, it can again be a type of project that can be made. Then developing new breed of an animal, developing agro processing culture, construction of any sort of building, like day by day there are different type of construction which is, so it is again a type of project. Now, string of a concentrated feed plant. So there can be different type of project that we generally see in our day-to-day life, and it is something which is totally going to vary depending on the type of requirements that an individual has. Now, let's discuss about the characteristics. What are the characteristics of the project? There are different types of characteristics of the project. First is fixed set of objective. Right? It is very essential that when you are starting the project, the objective is properly finalized. See, until and unless we are not aware what we are expecting out of it, it's very difficult to even start or even take a step ahead of it. So, it is a mandate concern that need to be properly satisfied, based on which the things, the objective that we are actually expecting at the end or at the completion of the project is there. So, the objective should be clearly specified. The projects come to an end, and as soon as the objectives are attained. So, at your initial go, you might have, thought or discussed about the type of objective what you are actually looking for. And once you are able to attain those type of objective, we generally used to say that the project basically comes to an end. That is the end of the project if we are able to achieve the objective in the proper way. Then second is the tenure. Again, a very important term. Project is never a continuous type of activity. You cannot say that it is a type of project which is an ongoing type of project. So, definitely it has to come to an end. So, that means we can say that the lifespan of the project is basically fixed. Right? So, there is a proper type of tenure that need to be defined based on how much time is basically required for the completion, and we can never say that it is a type of activity which is a continuous activity. If it is a project, it has to come to an end. So, lifespan of the project is fixed. Now, next is the teamwork. What is teamwork? It needs a team to accomplish various type of activities. See, when we are talking in terms of project, it is required that of course different type of activities are basically required. So, of course, when we are talking about different type of activities which are required, obviously it is something which requires a type of proper teamwork. So, it needs a proper team which will going to accomplish different type of associated activities which is related with the project. Then comes is the uniqueness, though I have already discussed what do we understand by the term uniqueness. So, as I told you, all projects are unique in themselves. No two projects are exactly similar, right? We cannot say that there are different type of projects which are similar together. The functionality of different type of projects are similar together. So, individual project is unique in itself, and it is something which makes it different from rest of the project in that individual domain. Now comes to the life cycle. Like all living organisms, project again starts slowly. Right? At your initial go, we cannot say that it is something which is going to start at a very fast go. As a type of living organism, project is something which basically starts slowly at a definition phase, then start building up in size. That is the planning phase, which is again a very important type of phase. Then reaches the peak when we are talking in terms of the implementation phase. So, at initial go, it is going to start in slowly, then starts building up in size. That is what is the planning phase. Then reaches the peak, which is basically the implementation phase, before finally getting the things done, before the project is finally achieved, before the attainment is finally achieved. Now, the next term is made to order. The customer always decides the objectives and informs the constraints like time and cost. It is very important. Then when we are talking in terms of any particular type of project, the time and the cost plays a very important role. So, that need to be initially defined only, that what is the maximum time frame based on which the project will be completed. What will be the total cost of the project. So, as far as the customer is concerned, the customer is always going to decide what is the objective that the customer want to achieve, and that conforms to the constraint based on times and the cost. Now, single entity. Generally, projects are responsibilities of a single person or an entity, but again, certainly there can be number of people or the participants in the project who are helping the single entity to accomplish the project activity. If you are talking about a big project, of course, there will be number of people who are associated with the different activities of the particular project. So generally or majorly we are saying that it is the responsibility of a single person. But again, we can say that it is practically not possible to attain the complete objective by a single person if we are talking about a big type of project. So that simply means that there can be different type of projects, participants in the project who is simply going to help that particular single entity so that he or she will be able to attain the particular type of objective, is going to attain the objective in the definite period, in the definite cost. Now, multi-skilled staff. Of course, for the completion of any particular type of project, there are different type of skills which is basically required. Right? So, the staff needed for the project includes the project managers, of course, is going to manage the different type of activities associated with the project. They need to have a wide range of skills, including technical skills, human skill, financial skill, negotiation skills, etc. So, it is mandatory, so it is required, right? A technical skilled qualified people, human skills persons, financial skills is required, a negotiation type of skills is required. So, that is why we require a type of staff which is a multi-skilled type of staff. Now, subcontracting. It is practically unavoidable in project management. We cannot avoid it, as specialized knowledge or workforce is needed for a very small duration in the project. It is difficult and costly to employ or to retain. Therefore, we can say that they are just hired for the small duration or specific job from the outside agency. Right? If you want a specialist type of knowledgeable person or a workforce for a short duration of time, and again, if you are going to employ it, this is something which is definitely going to increase the cost of the project as well. So, that means what is the solution? That you can simply hire for a small duration of time. Next is the risk and uncertainty, a very, very important term when we are dealing in terms of project, right? This is something which actually none of the software developer even have thought that they should encounter or they should have faced any sort of risk. So, there can be different type of precautionary measures that could be taken, so that will be able to avoid or make sure that the risk is not hampering the system. Projects are risky, and as the activities involved in projects are non-retrievable, thus we can say that it is something which is unavoidable. Of course, we will be taking number of different measures as well, so that we can try our best and we will be able to avoid any type of problems or the risk in the particular project. However, we can say this risk can be reduced considerably by various forecasting techniques and project management and control tools, right? With the help of different type of forecasting techniques, with the help of different type of tools as well, we will be able to reduce if there is any particular type of risk which is occurring. So, we can considerably reduce that particular type of risk. Now comes a very, very important term which is called as management of project. What is the necessity? What is the objective? What is the importance of managing any particular type of project? And what will happen if the project is not properly managed? Project management is a methodical approach to planning and guiding project processes from start to finish. That means actually managing all the different type of activities from starting till the termination phase of the project. Managing each and every particular activity is a very, very important and a crucial task. It is a method of planning the plan. It starts from project definition and deals, of course, when the goal is basically achieved, right? When the attainment is basically achieved. So, it's something which basically starts with the planning, and it's something which basically starts with the, once you are defining the particular definition of the particular project, until you are able to achieve what you want to achieve, what is basically the objective based on which you have started that particular type of project. It is the application of knowledge, skills, tools and techniques to provide activities in order so that it meets the stakeholder needs, and again expectation from the project need to be fully satisfied. It is a method and discipline which is definitely going to define the proper goals, as I told you initially also, with what goal, with what purpose the project has been started, right? Then again plans and monitor different type of tasks and the resources. Identify and resolve if there is any particular type of issue which is occurring, when you are making any particular type of project. Controlling the cost as well. If there is no proper management, definitely the cost of the project, the budget of the project is going to be high, which you don't want. So timely delivery. So time and cost, it is very important feature, and if you are able to manage the project properly, of course the time which is required for the completion will be properly, you will be able to deliver the project on time, as well as the cost will not be going to be high. Then again, there are different benefits of project management approach, why there is a need to follow any sort of approach. The rationale for project management approach is as follows. This approach will help in handling complex, costly and risky assignment by providing interdisciplinary approach in handling the assignment. For example, you can take in terms of R&D organization, like complex project, the costly project, any sort of risky assessments can again be easily handled. Then this project management approach helps in handling assignment in a specific time. As I told you, time is something which plays a very important role. So it is mandatory that you need to manage if there is any sort of problem which is related with the non-delivery of the project on time. Right? Definite start and again the completion point. Example is like handling customer orders by industries which is involved in the production of capital goods as well. Next is the project management approach provides task orientation to personnel in the organization in handling any particular type of assignment. That is very important point. Now, next is the objective. With what objective we are doing any sort of management in the project? What is the objective of the project? There are basically 4 major objectives of any project management. First is what is the scope of the project? A very important point. It simply means what are the expectations from you, what is basically expected from you as a project management, and of course from your team as well. A civil contractor will always have a definite, well-defined, proper type of scope. This is basically the example they've taken. Like all civil works, including excavation, foundation, concreting, brickwork, plastering of walls, as per the attached type of drawing. So it is only possible if and if the project is properly managed. So what is the scope? What is basically expected out of you, and of course from you as a team manager or as a project manager, what is expected? Then comes is the performance. A project is always expected to have a well-defined performance level, right? It should perform as based on what the objectives are, based on what the requirements are, it should perform accordingly. If a project is unable to adhere to the desired performance of a system, it is certainly an unsuccessful type of project, right? At the end, what we are expecting out of the project? That project should be completely going to satisfy the requirement of the end users as well, right? It is going to give you the proper type of performance of all. If it is not going to give you the complete, the performance of the system is going to degrade. So definitely we cannot say that it is a type of successful project. Next very important feature is basically the time objective. A successful project is the one which is completed within the time limit. If the project is not completed in the specific time frame whatsoever has been decided, then we cannot say that it is a successful project. As the cost again is dependent on time, time management becomes a critical activity of project management, right? Cost is dependent on time. So that means we can say that if the time is not managed properly, of course the cost is going to be high, which we don't want. So proper management of the time is required. Next is the cost. It is dependent on all the above objectives that we have discussed. So therefore we can say that it is basically the function of performance, time as well as the scope. If time for the completion of the project is more, if you are not able to deliver the project on time, the cost is definitely going to increase. Performance is not okay, of course the cost is going to increase. If any of the above increases, it is surely going to increase the cost of the project. Now, what is the importance of project management? What has led to the increased usage of the concept of project management in the recent times? So what is the basic reason behind it? Initial is that there is a rapidly changing technologies. Technologies are changing day by day. The technologies are changing very, very fast. So we can say that all manufacturing as well as service organization have to cop up as and when any sort of changes in the technology is basically taking place, which is simply providing a big scope for the management of the project. So rapidly changing technologies. Second is high entropy of the system. Changes are very fast, so energy levels are again very, very high. To adapt to the fast changing world, no organization can stick to the things or the older systems, we can say. So any modification or modernization leads to the need of the project. Of course, and it is very, very simple to understand. As and when the technology is going to change, we need to adapt according, we need to work, we need to manage, we need to make a project according to the changing needs, according to the change in the type of technology, according to the features which is presently required. Then again, squeezed life cycle of a product. Product's life cycle is squeezed to a great extent with the innovations that takes place at a very rapid rate. Projects are needed for the upgradation of the project. So if you need to upgrade any particular type of product, of course, there is a requirement of the project as well. Again, what is the impact in terms of global? What is the globalization type of impact? All producers and services providers in the present world are exposed globally. So that means it needs to modify the system of operation to match the different type of practices which is adhering or which is taking place globally, thus creating the opportunity for the projects. Then again, large organization, they face problems of management of huge workforce and work division. So they divide the, see, if we have a big work, if we have a large organization, the work in the projects that can be simply divided and it can create a type of team to accomplish the objective in the form of the project. So that is only possible if and only if there is a proper type of project that we will be dealing with, so that even the dividation can actually take place. This helps the organization to develop a method for the performance appraisal as well. Then of course, the customer focus. Increased customer focus has been in the market trend in the recent time. A few years back, cost reduction was the major formula for success of an enterprise. Thus, there are more emphasis on the standardization, right? Proper standardization need to be followed. What is basically the focus of the customer based on which they'll be, indulging in any particular type of project. In recent year, customer focus has redirected markets towards customization. It is not purely customization, it is more of a combination of standards and customization. So, of course, the requirement for the standardization, customization is required. All this has led to the application of a proper type of management of the project. Now comes a very important term, a team, right? Project team. What is a team? See, it's very simple to understand that it is something which consists of people. Again, those people will be assigned different type of roles and the responsibility for the completion of the project. So, project team members have varied skills sets and they have been assigned either a full time depending on the requirement, or of course on the part time if the requirement is not for the full time. Now, they may be on site or remote, in which case the project managers need to know how to deal with the virtual team as well, right? It is not always possible that, that you'll be having a team sitting in front of you. So, remote locations can also be possible. So, proper management, again, your project management should have the proper guts with the help of which you'll be able to deal with the virtual team as well. The people who are not sitting in front of you or sitting at a far global locations. The team would have a mix of people so that all the necessary skill, knowledge and understandings are collectively within that team, subject to any further specialized support that is needed. See, if you are talking about a team, we want a multi-type of team which is required, right? So that if any instance of time or at any point of time we require any specialized type of skill, we have the people available with us so that the work will get done in the specified time. A good project manager delivers project within deadline and budget which is set by the client. That is the most important time. Since starting I was talking about the time and the cost. So, how you can say that a project manager is a good project manager? If he or she is able to deliver the project within specified time and which is going to satisfy the requirement of the customer as well, the qualitative type of project, and of course, within the specified amount of budget or the cost as well. But what does it take to make a good project manager great? So of course, there are different type of qualities one must have to become a successful project manager. We are going to discuss those different qualities one by one. First and foremost, a very important characteristics of project management is the leadership. A project manager should be a good leader, right? If you're a good leader, then of course you can become a good manager. A project manager will set the tone for the project and provide a clear vision about the objective for the team, right? The objective of the purpose, or the objective and the purpose based on which the project has been started. Your team or your project manager as a leader is going to illustrate that type of objective to the different peoples working under him and her. A sense of foresight helps as well by anticipating potential problems. You can have your team ready to solve that at the blink of the eyes. If you are a good leader, definitely when you're going to, in a short span of time, the things will get done. And that is only possible because of the good leadership, because of the good type of communication, because of the good coordination between you and your team. Enthusiasm and passion are crucial to ensure that people follow you. Nobody will do so if you are sporting a negative attitude. So it's but common that if the attitude of the project manager is negative, of course, getting the things in a specified amount of time, in the specified amount of budget is very typical, is very tricky. Again, the second characteristics of project manager is the task delegation. Being a leader does not mean that you need to think about every tiny details of your project, right? If you are a big manager, it's not at all possible that you are going to look into very small type of issues as a manager. Show your team members your trust them and delegate tasks to them. It is important that you need to show to your members as well that you are trusting them, right? There is no issue of like untrustness between you and the team members working under you. Of course, you should be able to judge your team member skills and assign the task in according to with their strength. What an individual is capable of, what an individual team is capable of. Based on that, the tasks need to be properly assigned. Then third is of course the communication. There should be proper flow of the communication between the manager and the people working under the manager. A proper communication, a proper coordination is always appreciated. So good communication is not only about transmitting your vision to your team, it is also about maximizing the efficiency of the meeting to make decisions and solve the problems, right? If there is a proper type of communication taking place between a leader and the team members, of course, the things will get done in a short frame of time. Now, of course, you'll be getting the project which is a qualitative type of project. The same goes for written communication as well. If you are writing any particular type of emails as well, so proper communication need to be there. Next is the empathy. As a team leader, you'll need to be empathetic rather than sympathetic. That is a very important time. You need to be empathetic. Sometimes the work of your team members might be affected by the difficulties if there is any type of problem which they are facing in their private lives as well. So it is again the responsibility that how you are going to handle that particular type of issue if they are having any sort of problem in their private or personal life. So it's important that your team stay focused on the project. See, if a person is mentally, physically happy, then of course he or she is going to give the 100% of the work. And if there is any sort of disturbance even from the family, or even there is any problem in their private lives and all, so that obviously the things or the work will get affected. So as a leader, how you will be able to handle this type of situation or the problem? So they need to be stay focused. You need to make sure that the persons working should stay focused on the project, and each member is going to remain productive even when they are having any particular type of personal or private problems. Then comes is the organization. Good organization is a key factor for creating the productivity, work environment, as well as solving problems under pressure, right? So organization again plays a very important type of role, and of course we are expecting the proper type of output if and only if we have a proper organization, if we have a proper people working around you, if we have the proper environment, if we have the positive attitude of doing the job, of course the output will be very good. Well-being organized help to stay focused on the big picture and to prioritize your own task and of course the responsibility, right? If we are talking about a good organization, a big organization, this is something which will let you know, what is actually the focus, what you are looking at the end of the day, what is basically the objective, the vision, the mission, the policies, the procedures, the rules, all these need to be properly followed, all these need to be properly adhered, and they are only possible if and only if there is a proper organization. Then comes is the competence. Being on top of your project entails a vast amount of industry knowledge to be effective on what you do. How much capable are you doing it? Some knowledge on financial and legal side of your projects will not hurt either. You need to be perceived as capable and competent by your team. Mind you, it's not about technical expertise, it's there to lead. How better way you'll be able to lead, which simply means the encouragement, the challengingness and the inspiring the members of that particular team. How better way you'll be able to handle these type of issues. Then comes is the integrity. What do we mean by the term integrity? It essentially means loyalty and the honesty. You should be able to gain the trust of your team. That is a very, very important thing. You are trusting your employees, and in another way, we can say the vice versa should also be there, that your team members are trusting you. So what is the loyalty that they are showing? At the same time, setting the ethical tone on the projects and showing that you yourself follows the rules you set for others. It should not be the scenario like you have made some sort of rules and your team member is not following it. It's because that you are not following it. So it's mandatory that you also need to follow those type of rules if it is made. Then of course, problem solving. You as the leader of the team, but that does not mean that you will solve all the problem yourself. Greater project managers work with the team of experts and consultants and use their expertise, so they'll be able to handle or they'll be able to solve the problem if it is occurring in the particular type of project. Of course, collaboration, which is again very, very important point. Proper collaboration is basically required. A grasp of team dynamically is essential if you want your team to smoothly work on a particular type of project. So, of course, we require a proper type of collaboration among the team members, and of course, the team development. Delivering projects within, since starting, I'm telling you about this time and budget, which is very, very important. It can be quite stressful if your job not to crumble under the pressure, and make sure none of your members does so. So proper type of development of a particular team is basically required. Good leaders know that problems make up the fabrics of life and are to be expected. So the important thing is that how you'll be able to handle it. It is only and only possible if there is a proper development of the team. Well, these are the different references, students. Thank you. Thank you so much for your precious time. Thank you.